I want to head to Wellington. I want to head to Wellington as well. We're joined shortly by Tony Randle, local councillor. What's happening in Wellington? Is Andrew Littlewood Labor is going to be? If he wins, will he be a Labor mayor or will he be a Wellington mayor? And Tony, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you too, Duncan. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. How was Wellington? My birth, the home where I was born, the place where I was, spent 20 odd years. I love the place. How is it coping?
It's not coping that well, to be honest, especially on the business side. Things are quite glum. And I'm sorry that I've been coming on this show for a while, with Michael Laws, and it's got glummer and glummer and glummer as this current council works through its attempted transformation of the city. But I think what they've really done is just run the Wellington economy into a ditch, and we're sort of stuck at the moment.
You blame the council or the central government?
There's a bit of both, but we are a government town. Of course, our fortunes rise and fall with the government's willingness to spend money and such like. And the contrast between the previous government and this government is very stark. And much as I knew that the government was spending too much money, the last government, it's a bitter pill to have to be on the receiving end, worse than the rest of New Zealand when the money stops. And we're just having to work through this. I mean, businesses are having to restructure, government departments having to restructure, and so it's not a positive place at the moment.
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? All that money was sloshing around under the previous government. They were employing all sorts of people everywhere. And then, of course, you had the COVID money as well. But then that stopped, as did the change of government. And, boy, the money just got withdrawn from the city, didn't it, in many ways?
It did. But I think also the city and cities in general have changed shape in a way. Wellington's got a lot of jobs in the CBD, much more than Auckland or Christchurch, which tends to be spread around the city. But people now have got the flexibility not to come to work. And so we're getting a double whammy where, in fact, people who have jobs that are flexible are literally moving out of town. Our housing is still very expensive. They can get cheaper housing in Raumati and Kapiti, Waikanae. They can take the train in if they want to come to town or drive in along that lovely new motorway. And so a lot of them are choosing not to come to town. And so we've got empty office space as well, and that's something else we're still bracing and working our way through. I think, too, for me, from a councillor perspective, though, our council's still not focusing and adjusting to that. That's probably the most difficult bit.
Well, people have been given the licence to stay home, right? So and especially I think certainly in the public service, they do 3 days in the office, two at home maybe. Now you think about those 2 days that they're at home, they're not spending money at the cafes, at the pubs, on the local transport, on all sorts of things in the city. So you withdraw that money as well. And you can see why cafes and different small businesses are going under, because the people that were there before are no longer there.
That's right. But I do think that look, it swings and roundabouts. But Thursday night's now drinks night because there's so few people on Friday. Lots of people take Friday off, and so if you're going out for a beer, it's Thursday night. That's the works drinks. It's got that bad. But more power to people having choice. We want to have a society where people have choices, and having to do an hour-long commute to get to your job is quite a burden each way. So I'm not surprised that people are making their lives better. I mean, I'm a city councillor. I'm working from home right now. I'm not in the CBD. So that's we want the city to adjust. That's what I'm saying. And I think the city's got a bigger adjustment to do. And I don't see the city council or the regional council even having a proper discussion about this.
No, they need to set up a proper discussion, because what's happening is, as you say, these cities are transforming, right? They're transforming into post-COVID cities, which are different cities than what they were pre-COVID, because, well, we've all learned something new, and we've been enabled to work at home and all sorts of things as you are now. So these things have changed. So how does the city respond to that? It's quite a big debate, and it's quite a sort of undefined debate in many ways.
Yeah, but harkening back to the topic you've been talking about earlier, around iwi, co-governance and that sort of stuff, the issue is that that's what cities are discussing. They're not discussing what's actually changed. They're having a debate about a past issue, an issue that's not as important as it was. And we're getting all, they're still trying to drive an agenda that's an agenda of the 2010s, and we're in the 2020s. And this is where, we need to get people to sit back and think about how a city's really going to work and get back to the basics. And that's where I'm just struggling to understand why the sort of topics we do end up talking about aren't the most important ones. It's Bill Clinton said, it's the economy, stupid, and that should be the main thing.
But it's true though. Without a strong economy, you got nothing. So if we can't pay our way, then we live on borrowed time, and so we need to have these debates about the economy. And so, what sort of economy has Wellington got right now? How's it changing? How's it changed? And how does the council respond to that? That's where you should be, not debating some sort of the iwi stuff just can take over. It can be so dominating, can't it?
It can, and it does dominate in Wellington as well. We've got our own version of exactly what you're saying with the proposal to set up a trust, a Maori-led trust at the northern end of Miramar Peninsula, where they've got that land that used to be defence land, where Mount Crawford Prison used to be, if you remember. We've decided to spend millions of dollars giving that to the trust, so that we can fix up that as a lovely new reserve. And I'm thinking, why is this a priority when we've got an economy that... Well, the ratepayers, of course. This is why we have a 12% rates increase. It all comes back to the ratepayers, the people who have the least say about anything, it seems to me.
Well, the ratepayers are having no say in some of this stuff. I mean, how much of what you do is not open to public consultation? Probably quite a bit.
Well, this was not open to public consultation, and we don't. It's not like we have enough money to look after our own reserves. We've turned down volunteer groups who want to fix up city council owned reserves for nothing, but they just need some help. Some grant money for some materials or some planning or some expertise, and we're saying no, there's no money. Yet as soon as it seems to me. As soon as it's iwi connected, all of a sudden the checkbook comes back out again.
Yeah, why is that?
And this is the wrong discussion.
Why are we so kowtowing to iwi all the time?
Well, it comes back, I think, to the dominant. Or in Wellington, I think it comes back to the dominance of the party agendas. The groups that are very, you're seeing this, what's playing out in Parliament plays out in the Wellington City Council as well, because we've got a Green Party mayor, we've got a number of Green Party councillors, Labour Party councillors, and so many of these decisions seem to be decided not in the best interest of Wellington, or what Wellington City ratepayers can afford, but what's in the best interests of the party agenda. And it gets, and it's real money. I mean, this is the thing that people, and you're outlining in other parts of the city, and good on you. This is real money gets involved. I mean, there are real people who get paid real dosh out of council ratepayer funds through this, and they get real power. Who's got the mandate? I thought it's supposed to rest with the council, but we're giving it away.
This is happening all over the show too. There's these joint agreements with iwi, and I don't reckon that. I'm not sure what it's like in Wellington, but the public's been kept in the dark.
Well, they don't want to advertise it. Another example is, I think that because the public, they know the public isn't on board. They don't want to have it. I know it's not very democratic, is it? But that's the reality. They know they're not on board,
so we'll do it in secret.
They don't want to have an open conversation about this, and I've been called a racist as well, among others. The reality is, I think that I'm a Democrat. I think Wellington City is about Wellingtonians, and they're the people who should decide everything. Yet, over and again, and we're seeing it again. For example, in a new water industry, they're going to be in charge of billions of dollars of assets. They're going to have a budget of hundreds of millions of dollars, and the governance group set up has got 5 councils and 2 EV reps, and they're the ones who are going to set it all up.
Unelected EV reps.
And we didn't consult on that. We consulted on going on with a regional entity or not, but that wasn't the most important decision. We didn't consult, I don't think, on what was for most people the most important decision, which is how do we get control?
Yeah.
In this new entity, Wellington City is half of the new entity. We get 1 in 7 votes.
Yeah, how'd that happen? I mean, in total, it's going to be 50-50, iwi and the elected reps. But iwi are unelected. They're unelected appointees.